探してる分かってくれますように犠牲
One thing I do want to talk about is Mai and Maki's relationship, because we talked about the dynamic, but we didn't really kind of go into the details because they do explain a little bit about their childhood, about how they were raised. They're from the Zenin clan. And this is like a reoccurring theme, but like clans are really up, right?
Yeah.
They're
Well, the
very
Zenin clan
conservative.
is horrendous. Yeah.
The Kamo clan too.
That's true. We don't see much of the Gojo clan outside of obviously Gojo.
Yeah.
There is like in season 2 some like alluding to like him being raised as like a okay, this is our our second coming of Jesus type.
Yeah, but you can imagine anybody else in that clan is probably beneath, right?
Yeah.
Maki and Mai grew up in the Zenin clan, but
they had a rough childhood.
They had a rough childhood.
One, women are not treated well in the Zenin clan.
Yeah.
But also the fact that Maki doesn't have a curse technique and Mai is kind of like a failure.
Yeah.
They were kept in like servitude, right? They're essentially like maids.
Yeah, they're maids.
And Maki hated it. She wanted to get like out of that, which is why she ended up joining Jujutsu High. Mai didn't want to do that, and I think they showed this in season 1, so we're good here. Mai didn't want to do that. She was fine staying at the bottom, and her biggest like gripe with Maki was the fact that Maki left. And she even says it like, why couldn't you be satisfied just staying down here at the bottom with me? Like, I was fine with staying back there.
Yeah.
And like she was during their fight, like you hear Mai like in her head saying like, I hate you over and over to Maki, because it's kind of like, I'm here because of you. Like, I'm terrified of cursed spirits. I hate that I can see them.
Yeah.
And like, I'm doing this because of you.
Yeah, they emphasize like growing up, Maki was really there to help Mai dealing with seeing cursed spirits, because Maki can't see them. So Mai grew up afraid of everything. You know, things are scary, and Maki was always there to help her. But you know, which is why she's, like you said, she wants to stay home safe. You know, maybe she might live a life of servitude, but it was better than dying and to these creatures, these monsters. So she doesn't really have this attitude of like, I want to be better, I want to be, you know, she's kind of, like you said, she feels like she's forced to be there. So there's that tension. Yeah. Another thing too, Naoritoshi, they talk about his childhood, which is very weird.
Which is nuts. Yeah.
In their fight, they kind of emphasize that his mom was like a prostitute. Yeah. Or what do they call it?
He's essentially like the illegitimate child.
Yeah, he's a bastard child.
Yeah. But because he inherited like blood manipulation, which is like one of their curse techniques, they're like, okay, well, we'll accept you, and you'll eventually be the head, but your mama, she gotta go.
So they emphasize the fact that it's such a weird, I mean, you'll see the kind of discrimination on people that don't have or are born with abilities and people that aren't. You know, it's like the opposite of X-Men, right? Like if you're born with a mutant ability, they love you. It's the best thing ever. Versus, you know, even if you're like the next in line, if you don't have any abilities, you just cannot be the head of the clan. Yeah. And that's just crazy, right?
That's also like what Gojo kind of takes issue with the higher ups, because the higher ups are very much like that, where they don't, and he says this, they don't like anything they can't understand. Yeah. They like curse techniques that are very traditional. Like he alludes to Nobara Kugasaki. Like, her technique is something they would like, you know, it's like voodoo, like that's something they can understand, whereas something a little more like Hikari, which I won't.
I literally was thinking about
he talks about Hikari, and he's like, they didn't like him because of his curse technique, because it's so different than something traditional.
But I mean, like, I feel like that's crazy, because it's like, what is traditional, right? Like, you think about the they do, it's none of it is
that is true,
normal. Blood manipulation,
but that's stuff they could kind of like, you know, be like, well, it makes sense to us, you know.
Right.
But they hate Yuji because he's a vessel, and like, we don't know how that's possible. We don't like that. Kill him, you know.
Any level of uncertainty they hate, which I get it, right? I can see there's like this sense of, I don't know if it's the anime kind or the manga kind of like doing a play on like conservatism, and like, you know, the tropes of like real life, where anything
Japanese society can be very conservative,
right. And I mean, you might see some of that leak into the story, I guess. I don't know, not accepting anything that's not you know, traditional norms. Or them. Yeah. Which I think, I mean, I don't want to get into it, but Japan's going through it right now.
Oh, yeah.
All this shit going on over there. Anyways, also, before we start